It's June now, May 2025 is over, and I'm gonna let you guys know what I consumed this month. As usual, I'm kicking it off with movies, and I was able to watch 61 during the month of May. Super happy with that. A little bit more than the previous month, and yeah, I just had so much more time. There were a lot of days where I was able to watch 2 movies, and a day like that's always a good one, so good stuff. Make sure to check out my letterbox if you want to see what I'm watching as it's happening. So a small goal of mine was to finish the rest of the Studio Ghibli movies that Miyazaki has been involved with that I just haven't seen yet, and The Wind Rises was my final one, and I loved it. This was a very mature Ghibli movie, very cool kind of just themes in general, and good story. I'll always appreciate a movie about someone who's just trying to follow their dreams, so this was a really enjoyable one. And right after that, I was able to follow it up with a documentary centered around Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, which I thought was really nice, a very immersive style. I feel like you were able to see a lot that you wouldn't typically see in a documentary. Of course, you know, you do have the little speaking spots, you know, here and there, but it just felt kind of casual in a very welcoming way. So this was a great watch, especially if you have seen all of the movies, because it really makes you just appreciate it even more. And then midway through the month, I had this crazy 4-movie run. I just loved all of these. It started off with LA Confidential, which was a movie that I've just been wanting to watch for a while, and I just watched it at the most perfect time. I don't know, I loved it. I thought this was amazing from all of the aspects. I mean, it was just such a great movie. I was hooked the entire way. I was loving it. This was just so good. The soundtrack was great, and this is also my first 5-star rated movie of the year so far. I can be a little picky, you know, even if I'm really enjoying something, you know, it could be like a 4, 4.5, but when it's a 5, it has to literally be a perfect movie to me. And this was it right there. After that, I watched Where's the Friend's House? Some Persian cinema right here. This was really great. It's literally just about a boy who's trying to give a notebook back to his classmate before the next day of school. And you just see him having this journey through the town. And it was really, really well done. You really just want to root for the boy who's the main character, because, you know, there's all these different stuff happening around him, and, you know, it's just trying not to work out for him, but he's so determined. He's so determined. It's a great, great movie. And then after that, I watched The Green Ray, which is a really great French film about a woman who's on her summer vacation just trying to make more sense about her life. It was a really good dialogue-driven kind of movie, but a lot of great shots, just great colors, and just once again, it's one of those, you know, I put in my review right here, you know, you finish it and you're just smiling because you're like, wow, like what a movie. And especially, like, as I said, you know, I've already watched these other 2 great movies right before this, so I'm just loving movies at this point. I'm just loving it. And then to conclude this little 4-movie run, I watched Playtime, another French film, I believe. And this is, you know, it's more of a comedy. You know, this is one of those where it's a lot of kind of situational humor, a lot of just random bizarreness happening that you're like, how did they even pull that off with all the people involved with it, or the set, or just everything. Once again, just so many great shots in here. So many just, I'm telling you, these movies, if you're gonna watch any movies from any of these, you know, little videos that I make where I talk about what I watched, those 4, the past 3 and then this one right here, these are movies that are just phenomenal. These are just great, great stuff. You know, if you like that kind of just silly humor, but also like meaningful, but like, I don't know how else to describe it. Obviously, all these movies are better if you go into it with not knowing as much, so that's why obviously I just kind of just do a little brief about it. You know, I try to give you kind of the vibe of how the movie is, and yeah, just some great stuff. And now let's move on to music. I listened to 5,799 minutes, which is just shy under 97 hours. That's a lot of music. I find it really cool because, as I said earlier with the movies, with this month being the most that I have watched so far, this is also the most amount of music I've listened to so far too. There was just so much more music. As you're about to see, I loved a lot of new stuff that came out, and it was so great having a lot of new releases, because I feel like the last few months, you know, there's a new album here and there, but it ends up still just being like stuff that's already been in my rotation. But you know, let's look and let's see what I listened to. We have Men I Trust for our #1 most listened to artist here. Just great music from them. I am so happy that they were able to release just so much recently. And yeah, 605 minutes, that's pretty good. And then following that up, we got Caliuchis, we got Mike, we got Tony Seltzer, and Billy Woods. Once again, these are all artists that came out with new stuff this month, so I'm not surprised seeing any of them in the top 5. And this is finally a month without The Alchemist. The Alchemist needs to come with some new stuff, and I know he'll be right back up there, but these artists really just took over. For our songs, we have number 71 from the Mike and Tony Seltzer Pinball #2 album, and it's definitely gonna be my favorite song from that. And we got Sin City following that up with 24 plays. We got some Men I Trust from their other new album. We have another one from Mike, and then another one from Men I Trust. So once again, we are having some great music from them. For our albums, you are going to see that correlation from our artists. Pinball 2, the sequel to Mike and Tony Seltzer's album. Great stuff. I still think I like the first one a little bit more, but there is still some strong stuff on this one as well. Then we have the new Men I Trust album. This is their second one from this year so far. I did enjoy this one a little bit more, so great stuff. But I mean, the other one, you know, still some good music too, don't get me wrong. But this one was just more of their sound that I'm more familiar with, and I loved it. I still love it, you know, I still love it. Then we got the Emine album. I know he wasn't in the top 5 of the artists, but he's probably that number 6 spot, if anything, because his album has some good stuff too. Of course, you know, I'm always gonna enjoy that summer sound, that warm kind of sound. You know, there was that Kaytranime album that came out a couple years back with Kaytranada, which was a really great album. So you kind of get a little bit of that in here too. We got Sincerely from Kali Uchis, another just really strong album added to her discography. Once again, some good stuff in there that I know I'm gonna keep on revisiting, you know, as years go on. And then number 5, we have the Billy Woods album, which out of all of these, you know, out of all the artists that came out with some new stuff this month, definitely probably my least favorite of the bunch, but still some really good songs. And on May 8th, I listened to my 1,000th song, my 1,000th unique song on Apple Music. So once again, I always will find these milestones kind of fun because it's really, you know, nothing that crazy. But I care about the ones that are more about like the minutes and all that, because that's just always random to see, you know, having kind of like this IRL stat trackers. For TV, The Studio finished up. Phenomenal season 1. I loved it. I think this is just such a special show. The fact that we're getting a season 2 makes me really excited because I feel like this is a show where they could extend and make multiple seasons, and it actually could work because of how the episodes work. If you've seen the show, you know, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, definitely give it a watch. That's gonna be another thing. This video, I just realized, this video in general, I'm just recommending stuff. This is, I mean, that's obviously what these videos, like the point of these videos are for, but this is one where like, if you're not gonna watch any of these other ones from the past couple months and then none for the rest of the year, this right here is probably like just so strong. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the year goes, but I just loved what I consumed this month. It really is just, it was just so special. And then basketball was pretty cool too. You know, you want to throw in some basketball in there. The playoffs have been super exciting. Right now, the finals are going on. It is going to be something I'll be talking about for my June video. However, the rest of just how the playoffs led up to, you know, where we're at today was very exciting to watch. I'm rooting for the Indiana Pacers to just, you know, come through and win it all. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Just go enjoy something. You know, if you're gonna watch anything, listen to anything from here, you know, let me know too in the comments. If you go consume it and come back, you know, that would be really cool to hear about because I just thought this month was really special. So yeah, we'll see what I consume next month, and take care.